Welcome, everybody. This is Haunters Hangout. We're live on the air, and I'm sure we got an exciting group of people here. We're not going to have a problem with any conversation or silence because it is a real talkative group, and it's going to be fun.
Literally starts right in.
Fun
ride, people. Fun ride.
That's
Except
right.
I'm having a problem.
Jamie's having a problem already.
I am having a problem. It's not letting me share the right screen.
I see two Jackies. What was that? I see two Jackies.
I know. I'm choosing the one with the pictures, and it's showing me you guys.
No, don't do that.
Hey, there's Bob. And there's us.
Mesmerized.
So welcome to the first ever episode of Haunters Hangout. We're going to work out some kinks here. There we go.
There.
Hey, all right.
Look at those amazing companies.
Right.
Oh, good grief.
Amazing companies. Okay.
All right. Do y'all see it right? Because I can't see it anymore.
Yeah,
We can see it. It looks amazing.
Okay, good.
Okay, we're going to start it off with our first sponsor, and that'll be Fright Props giving away the Z Mask.
Woo!
Nice. Woo. That is cool.
Yeah, that's cool. We're going with next would be Face Factory FX. They're giving away a sweet mask. I'm not sure what it's called, but it looks cool too. We have Froggy's Dog.
Froggy's got a dog.
Doggy dog.
Dog's excited.
Remember I told you about that mute button up there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's that little mute button.
So we're gonna just end this broadcast and start.
Thank you for hanging out, everybody. See you later.
See you. Bye.
Brought to you by Milk Bone.
Okay, we got Froggy's Fog with a gallon of bog juice. We have Sam Haynes with Sounds of Horror of Halloween. Something Wicked.
Woo. Good go, Sam.
Gary.
Yeah. We have Sinful Audio, original soundtracks of haunted houses and escape rooms.
Ooh. I've heard of that guy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck, everybody. And make sure whenever you do your shopping, you go to them for all your haunt needs.
Shopping cart, yeah.
That's right. And now we're going to move it on to Jackie, and she's going to get the show started after she introduces everybody else.
All right. Tonight we have Bob Kowal from Attic Hatch Infestation in Clinton Township, Michigan.
Woo! Yeah.
And Justin Hill from Haunted Hospital in Portage, Indiana.
Yeah.
Troy Crivellone from Scare Hollow in Wood Village, Oregon.
What do you got to do the harmonica?
That guy.
Or kazoo.
There we go. I need one of those.
And Bonnie Barrows and Tom Jameson from Ghouls of Gaithersburg from Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Woo,
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with Bob. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your hunt.
Okay, my name's Bob Kowal. I'm from Clinton Township, as you said. That's 8 miles from 8 Mile from out-of-staters. And my haunt's based on 50s, like late 50s science fiction, giant creatures, atomic age, nature run amok. And I started haunting. I got into haunting. My first monster I drew when I was 3 years old. I did designed my first Halloween costume when I was 5 years old. The mean ghost. My mom, I think that it's still around somewhere in some box, but I first went pro in 3rd grade, I think it was. We hung up sheets in the basement with clotheslines, and we hand drew the little flyers, just individual, me and my friends from across the street. We just hand them out to houses and charge like a nickel for people to come by. And they'd go walk between the sheets, and we'd go up and scare them. And this is in the early 60s, so there really wasn't like haunts and stuff. So that must just be in the DNA, people wanting to do that. And then in high school, I got more into music and kind of got away from the haunt thing. I still dressed up in that. It wasn't until I moved into this house about 10 years ago where I got the bug again. And that's when
Dude, I was so gonna say something about the pocket candy, but I decided not to.
Now you kind of have to.
We'll get back to that.
Oh, boy.
And that wasn't meant to be a pun when I said the bug, but yes, the bug.
He's been waiting all night to drop that one.
No, it just came out.
All right.
Need to know more about me, or?
If you have more to tell, we'll listen.
I'm fairly uninteresting.
Okay, then we'll move on. Justin, tell us about you and your haunt.
All right, I run a haunt out here in Northwest Indiana. We've been running now. This is our 9th year. I'm the creative guy, so I mean, literally, most ideas come from me. I have a crew who helps me a lot and who I've been trying to make them kind of think like me, so that it's not just me, but a lot of it comes from me. We have like over 100 actors. We are a pro haunt. I also run a vlog. I call it The Haunt Show. I've had that for about a year now, over that. And I just created, me and my friend just created a brand new website called Haunt Pages, which is something that everyone should check out, not because I'm making money off of it, but because it is an amazing idea. Pretty much it's a place where, imagine if you had a trade show but on the internet. That's kind of how it is. So I've taken a bunch of vendors and reached out, and we have them all under easy lists where you can actually find them with it's all based on the products that they offer. So yeah.
And I watched your Q&A. The Q&A that you did was really good. I don't want to sound like I was surprised that it was like so good. You guys had a lot of information. Loved it.
Which one?
The first one you guys did.
Yeah. I like having a lot of stuff that is no expense to anyone, because I understand what it's like trying to create a haunt when all you have is the internet. That's how I did it, watching Alan Hops, watching everybody. All info that I could absorb to create a haunted house and kind of create my ideas about how I want to create a haunted house all came from online. And even now, I mean, I watch a ridiculous amount of YouTube, and I'm always on Haunters Hangout and all kinds of stuff, trying to come up with what is this haunted house thing that I do, and what's the right way.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. There's a lot out there.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Troy, how about you?
Oh, hey, hi, how's it going? I am Troy, as a few of you know, and I run Scare Hollow, and we are a ever-changing home haunt. And I also part own and operate the Northwest Terror Tours with my good and extremely old friend Jim Erickson, who's probably asleep by now, and I help run the Northwest Haunters Association, along with 21 members we have right now, and I help out with the Haunt Addiction Show. I help out with Inside the Haunt Industry. I do a lot, but my main passion is creating the home haunt and helping out haunters. I do enjoy doing that. So
Cool.
Yeah, that's always good. Sound like a busy bee, man.
I am very busy.
especially this time of year, right?
Yeah, extremely. I got a week to go.
Bonnie and Tom, tell us a little bit about yourselves and your haunt.
Well, where do you want to start?
Well, we've been doing it for about 10 years.
Longer
just-
than that. Longer than that.
A little
We
bit.
started.
It was a gradual thing of just a few decorations out. I was born on Halloween, so I was kind of predisposed to doing something. So I always loved it, and so we gradually started doing a few things out in the yard, and then kind of got the bug to do more, and went online, started searching, found Haunt Forum, and found and other sites too, finding how-tos and to start making some of our own stuff.
Yeah, we went from the cardboard tombstones, spray painted at the last minute, and the paper cutouts in the door to a much more sophisticated looking yard
Doing
display.
some animatronics and just the animated stuff. And
Yeah, we're primarily static props, primarily a cemetery theme. Most of our stuff we try to keep in that same group. That way we don't end up buying things that we end up getting rid of, which we have done in the past. But we've been, I think, since we joined Haunt Forum to as a place to get ideas.
we're known as Spooky One.
And Roxy Blue.
We're very
We
happy
learned a
with that.
lot. I mean, we've learned so much, like Justin was talking about, the things that are available online, it took it to a whole different level, including how to photograph it and do videos as well. We've learned a lot from watching what other people do.
Learning about, it doesn't matter, you can have a great haunt, but if you don't light it right, it's
Things like
nobody
that.
sees it.
Right.
So yeah, so we stick to primarily, it's a primarily static, a few animated props, but we do the cemetery theme every year and
a mix of store-bought and stuff we make.
a lot of things we make now. So
Nice.
but that's what we do. We're very popular in the neighborhood with the kids. They might not know our name, but they know we're the Halloween people.
The Halloween house.
or Abby's mom, the
Yes.
dog. We're Abby's
Yes.
mom and dad. So.
Yes, this is Abby hidden back here right now.
Abby was who we were listening to earlier with her bark.
Yes. She was a
She's got a big bark.
Yes, she does. She has a very big bark. If you come to our doors, she will sound like she's going to rip your legs off. But if you've been here for a couple minutes, she wants to be a lap dog, which is a lot at 55 pounds. So
Yeah.
We haven't gotten around to putting her in costumes yet. That's
just a
That's coming though.
bit by bit.
All right, Brad, do we have any questions that we can ask?
Yeah, I have a
and then
question.
I'll move
I have
along
a
to photos
question.
after.
Does anybody else eat 2 Troys at the bottom, or did I drink too much?
Oh, I do.
before that?
Yeah. No, we're having thunderstorms out here, and it just shut the browser off for a second. So it'll drop off eventually.
So you're like a mogwai and you multiply?
It's cloning.
Yeah.
Really cloning.
That's scary.
There it went.
There I go. There.
Thought it was getting double vision.
Well, I mean, if we don't have any questions to ask at the moment, we could go to photos if Jamie's ready.
We can try.
Maybe. Or we can.
Jamie's having picture problems. I think I figured it out. Can y'all see that picture now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yay.
All right. So this should be Bob, right?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Ooh, look, he got big.
Wow.
And for the record, Bob, I do find you interesting.
Okay, that's a panel shot of the front yard.
Cool.
This was taken the day before Halloween, and this is around dusk time, and just doing test runs on the smoke machines and everything, and you can pretty much see everything there except for the wasp. And if you kind of go left to right, that's the garage spider on the left, obviously. And then next to that is my pumpkin plant, and then radioactive spider I did this year, the 18-foot bat, the 50-foot snake, the animatronic rat is in the window over there, and then the Dorkin man, and then the praying mantis, the monster mutant mantis. I guess the main thing in this one is the snake, which I made out of the main body is made out of pool pillows. And for people who don't have to winterize, those are big pillows that you put under your pool covers for the winter. And they're like 15 feet long by 4 foot in diameter. And I got my awesome niece to do the sewing for that. And she had to sew 50 feet of spandex, which I got from Spandex House in New York or something like that.
Tim Wilkie wants to know how long this whole thing takes to set up, Bob.
I usually start, well, every year I have to start a little earlier because I have a little more to put up. But I have to, if I don't start in the beginning of October, there's no way I have it done. It takes me about 2 full weeks. I try to have it done 2 weeks before everything. And then final touches on Halloween. Okay, we're looking at the bat, which is 18 feet long, and he's made mostly of my favorite material to use, which is 9-gauge utility wire, and then it's pipe insulation over that. And then what else do I have on there? The body is made out of chicken wire and fur. The head is made out of a mannequin head with roofing paper on it, and then some wire. And then it's what is the webbing made out of? Oh, it's the tablecloth for Halloween parties, and that's all on a big boom, which sits. I have on the other side of the roof there. There's counterweights and bungee cords that suspend it over the roof.
Wow.
So in the in the wind. So the big trick here was to come up with 18 feet length of wings that doesn't destroy itself when you get 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Mhm.
Which
Yep.
That's what I was wondering about.
So
That's impressive.
so there's enough that wire. There's enough flex in that wire where it'll bend with the wind.
So I'm laughing at the rat picture.
Okay.
That's an awesome picture.
Oh my god.
That's wonderful.
I had to put
It's so
I put some pictures of myself in there, not because of ego. I just wanted to give a sense of the scale, because it's really hard to tell.
That's a great picture.
That's a big rat.
You are totally adorable in that picture.
Yeah, that's made out of plastic sheeting mostly, that you see for political signs. I get them in 4x8 sheets. The arms are made out of tomato stands, those wire tomato stands with fur around it. And then I have I don't know how to weld, so it's made out of PVC and the armature inside, and there's a motor inside that helps the head move.
Are those
And
all
what's
lit
cool-
up or are they just metallic?
Those are holiday bulbs of another holiday.
Oh.
That one we don't mention.
Yeah, smooth.
Yeah, smooth one, Bob. Smooth one.
Yeah, and then, but what's cool is that with the armature that's made of PVC, because there's so much weight on it, when it moves, it really creaks, and it makes it sound like everything's
Really cool.
like the house is giving away underneath the force of the rat.
Oh, that's good. That's a good idea.
Chris Wilhausen wants to know how much it costs to put the fur on the rat. I think he means to buy the fur.
Oh, well, that's just regular costume for whatever it was at the time. So, boy, I couldn't give you the yardage at this point. I don't know.
I think it usually runs between $8 and $15 a yard, depending.
Well, yeah, I try to
Fabric
keep
store.
those coupons handy. So now this was this was like an overnight prop. I put this on there just because it was something. A lot of stuff I usually plan way ahead of time and make all this, but this one I did kind of spontaneously with scraps I had. You had extra Michael's pumpkins and some burlap. And again, that 9-gauge wire, which I twisted kind of like a cable, like you see it from a cable bridge. I took various strands and just twisted them to give it more strength. And that stands about 7 feet tall.
Wow.
So it's just the burlap over the wire, and then I just bought some Michael's leaves, and then painted the pumpkins, and then it's pumpkin teeth on there. And then I used the wedges that were left from the pumpkins to make tongues inside of the pumpkins.
Cindy Wortman wants to know what made you decide to do giant insects in the first place.
Because, well, when I moved, because I had to put seed on my lawn. And what that means is I have an ongoing struggle
You
with
mean
my
grass
grass.
seed?
Yeah, grass seed.
Yes.
Correct.
Good.
And originally I was going to do something. Originally I was going to do something like have large cutouts, like 15-foot tall cutouts of like creepy clowns or universal monsters, and have them sway in the wind. But I decided I wanted to get my lawn right, and so I had extra roofing material at home and in the house. And so somehow I came up with the idea of making it look like the spider was breaking out of the roof with the roofing materials. That's about 18 feet across too. And that's just 3-inch PVC.
Yeah, when I first seen that, I was like, man, that's taking haunting to another level when you like rip your roof up just to put a prop.
Yeah.
I have people come to my house. It's happened more than once where the people come to my house and go, we've just had a bet. My husband says that you broke your roof to do that. And
Right.
he said, your husband's stupid.
Stupid husband.
But there's also a little smoke machine up in there. So with that I run with a remote.
Very good.
That's still a lot of people's favorite. I kept on, but that was the first one I did, and I guess I made it that big because it's 30 feet from the street, so I wanted it to be able to read from that distance. So
Nice.
That is awesome.
Joshy Lever says that's a big ass spider. Oh, sorry, that's a big ass spider.
So you leave these out then for the whole month, and the weather is everything's good?
Yep. Everything I have that's definitely consideration is it's all plastic. This is all mostly plastic, and it's roofing material, so that's not gonna. The only thing I'm surprised about is that my lighting holds up as well as it does without shorting out or something. But,
Yeah, Nikki Spawn had some questions about your lights. Or do you use all LED lights for your lighting?
no, I'm still with the old floodlights. I still got all floodlights. I just haven't. I know it's smarter to go with LEDs, but these get really good coverage, and I just haven't had time to make that switch. By the time I'm done, I always think, well, once I'm done with this and that, then I'll work on the lighting, and I just never have time to make the switch. But I'm happy with how the floodlights work. I would say the one thing unique with doing all the stuff that's on my roof is that I had to come up with rigs to have my lights on the roof. And the way I did that is I have PVC running through the gutters so that water can still run through them. And then elbows that hold light fixtures. And so I'm able to, and I have to be careful to turn them in just such a way that they don't shine in the eyes of people who drive by. So there's a lot of things that I have to consider when I'm doing that. But I go mostly.
Looks super awesome. Your pictures are fabulous. We're actually going to move along to Justin, though. And I think Jamie's got that pretty red tree that keeps popping up.
That tree.
Hey, I'm doing the best I can. I'm struggling
No,
over
it's
here.
fine. there are worse things that could pop up. I'm
You
sure.
see pictures, right?
Yes, we see it.
All right.
All right, Justin, tell us about this one here.
All right, so that is actually a picture of my brother. There's a lot of resemblance there.
This is on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
His character is one of our actors in our line because he's also in charge of our security.
I had an air leak.
I did too.
Oh, Justin's deflating.
Just because he's really big, but his character acts like a child. So one moment he's got a puppet there, and then the next one he's just on you and he pounces and he's all just freaking everyone out because he's really tall and really big, and he's my younger brother, but he's larger than I am. So, yeah.
What's with the Playboy bunny?
I was wondering that too.
Yeah, the name of his character is Bunny, so he wanted a logo. We're actually creating a new mask and a new armor thing, so he'll have kind of his own logo this year.
That's cool. Chris Wilhauser wants to know, Justin, did you make that mask?
That mask, no, it came from Halloween Productions. Yeah.
Melissa Paulson wants to know, how do you get actors?
How do I? What I do, we use most of ours we've had for a long time. At least a lot of them we've had for a long time, but we use online media a lot. Just our ads go huge. I don't know why, but we have a lot of people come to our auditions, and we have a lot of actors in our haunt, which is strange, especially because none of them are paid.
Oh, yeah.
Over, I think we're at like 120 actors now, all unpaid and working their asses off.
Trish Redding wants to know if you're feeding them.
Yes, every night. We also have a party after each year. Our actors, they accumulate a bunch of points, and you earn a lot of stuff. We have a bunch of T-shirts. We have awards. We have a huge banquet. We have our vests. We have hoodies. We have patches. All kinds of stuff that you earn. It's almost like if you are in a sport, we treat it kind of like that. So it's like you're earning a letter almost. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Cool. Tell us about
gives them like incentive to be more scary.
I love this picture.
This is a great picture. Tell us about this one.
All right, so mine, like way back when, but I got old and I couldn't act as this anymore because my knees are screwed up. So this is actually my cousin who has acted with us forever, and so I was like, guess what? You're playing this creepy ass character. So he is also a slider. I taught myself all that. Then I taught my brother, and then me and my brother have kind of explained all of it to him. I think we're the only haunt in Indiana that has a slider, and we have a lot of them actually. It's a great scare, and I'm really happy that we have it because people love it. But he never speaks. His mask I made actually out of it was a bag that came with a gas mask I bought.
Oh, I know those bags. I know those.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's a great fabric for that. I was going to ask you what that was made out of because it's got a great look to it.
Yeah, I've had it forever. But it smells awful because it just absorbs all that.
That's the real reason you didn't want to wear it anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't your knees. We know.
Yeah. his hair actually is a
Go back, Jamie.
Oh, okay.
yeah, just real quick. His hair is
Creepy cloth.
a thread that is a leather. I use it on a lot of my masks. It has some kind of a wax, and it just makes this really nasty, really long, a creepy hair on a mask. So I love that stuff.
Cindy Wortman wants to know, Justin, how long did it take to go through your haunt last year, and how many days were you open?
Last year we were open for 14 days, and our haunt takes like anywhere like a half hour to an hour.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's
Any other questions? Yeah.
Randy Butler wants to know, can you explain the build on the slider?
The build on the slider, yeah. The knee pads come from I don't know the website. I know that the knee pads we use are a brand from it's a ProTech, and they are, I don't know how it's made, but they look exactly like a pair of crappy knee pads from like a Walmart, but they last forever. And I mean, we slide a lot, a whole lot, and I think one pair will probably last a couple of years, pretty well. Apart from that, we just use a pair of boots with a metal toe and a pair of gloves that we make from it's just a pair of work gloves, and we use an epoxy and apply on it's a part of an angled a conduit connector. They cost like $1 a piece. So yeah, and they work really awesome too.
Cool. Well, how about this picture here? What's going on?
All right, so in here is in what I call our Ward B. Now it's an idea that I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I created it. I call it a riot room, and basically what I do is we don't have a lot of money to buy really expensive bodies and stuff, but what I do have is an overabundance of free labor. So I take an ass load of actors and I cram them in one space, and I have them all move and freak out and act and scream and yell all when our audience walks in. Now, when I say an ass load, I mean like I think I had like 28 actors in one room.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah, on a pair of.
That's a definite ass load.
Still a big definition of ass load.
Actually.
I think in Canada, 26 is an ass load, but that's
and all of them are on bunks. So you have actors above you and under you and coming straight on, and there's really loud music that you can't even hear because our actors are screaming all night long and just creating this chaos in one room. And it honestly, our audience doesn't know what is happening when they walk in there, because it's like you're walking in on a riot, which is why I call it a riot room. This guy is he is the psychiatrist of our institution. I know he doesn't look like it. Pretty much, I had a problem of what else can I do apart from having a doctor who is cutting up other humans. And I came up with a doctor who is obsessed with nightmares. So this is who he is. In the universe of our haunt, he is a boogeyman. He is a nightmare kind of a guy, and he you basically enter his world in a part of our haunt. So he was actually on a harness that we created, where he we used a pair of tracks off of a rolling door and created a trolley, and he was on a harness, because I thought, if he's this kind of like a monster, I don't want him to just walk out. I want him to fly out from darkness really quick and with a fluid movement. So, and it scared the hell out of people, because he went from our darkness to just this, and then he was on you immediately, in a span of like 8 feet. He just flies out, and it was an awesome room.
Pretty intense. Yeah, for
Wow.
his big ass come flying at you.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then we have this. So this guy is our main doctor. His name is Dr. Cropsey. And what we created here is, in his room, it is a theater and operating room where other doctors would observe an operation. Well, you walk in, and we hooked up an audio effect, and he is ripping. See, I wish right there's a cloth, but he is ripping a spine out of a live actor.
That's why you go through so many actors.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you keep them too. They're afraid to go in that room.
Yeah, but it was pretty crazy. Our actress was awesome all night, and we had this audio that was just a nasty noise of bones being just crushed, that we actually created it, and it would just, people just, they were just freaked out whenever they were in his room. And then he is, again, a real big guy. So when he walks out at you, he's also a really awesome actor. He's one that can just improv. On him, I'm always like, okay, here's our space, here's an idea, you do whatever, and he handles it, and it's always great. So he, yeah.
He's a big guy. He can handle it. Very good. Let's move along and get Troy's pictures up.
Okay.
So, Troy, tell us about this one here.
Oh, that would be my facade from last year. I've always hated my house, the way it looks. It's the least haunty thing I think ever. It's a 1990s house, so it has no terrible. And so I've always wanted to cover it, and I thought that you know, over the years I've done lighting on it. I've tried to black it out with, you know, trying not to light it. I do have a street light, but it is one of those LED blue ones, and it actually lights my graveyard up like, looks like a moonlight. So I'm actually one of the lucky ones with the street light. But I came up with the idea that I wanted to build. My wife said I want to do witches, and so I said that would be awesome. She got the whole garage, and I was like, well, I got to do something. I'm not gonna let you do everything by yourself. I gotta, you know, I can't just sit around. And so I was like, well, let me make you a cabin, you know. And so I sketched it out over.
Nice.
Make you a witch's cabin.
Hey, let me make you a little witch cabin, baby.
Yeah, it's just a couple of panels. It'll be fine. I actually did tell her it won't be that big. And then she saw the sketch, and she was like, that's pretty big. And I said, yeah, but you know, it needs to cover the house. And so I with our we change our theme every year. We change our haunt 100%. And so we kind of try to have something from last year in there and something from next year, and so we've gone from the graveyards to, you know, all different types of towns and stuff like that. And so this just kind of went 2 years ago. I built my hearse, and we had the graveyard and everything. And so this was further back in the and the hearse ended up stopping there, and she ended up taking the bodies out of it and everything. So we try to create a theme that goes through the years.
Are you gonna keep this one for a couple years, or are you gonna get rid of it?
Yes, it is actually, it's all stored, because I know there's the haunt storage question. It is actually stored behind. It's stored behind my shed in a 8-foot wide by 4-foot tall section. Every single panel is side by side to each other, and then the insides of it hold all the windows and the shutters and all that stuff. I got from the roof, or from the porch there, was from I go camping a lot, and I asked the forest ranger where the campground we were at down by Crater Lake if we could have some of these poles, because they're exactly straight, but they look really cool up close and stuff. And so they're like, oh yeah, take all you want. And I was like, all right. So I loaded up the top of my tent trailer with all just a ton of them, because each one of the roof pieces is held up by one of these as well. And I got the shutters and all that kind of stuff from like the Habitat for Humanity stores and stuff, and roughed them up, and got the windows from miscellaneous houses all over Portland. The one on the far left had complete panels. It was in an 1890s house, and it had complete glass panels, and I put it in, and then I laid it all in there. I didn't screw it all in yet, but I laid it in there. It was really, really tight, and I went over to the next window to start putting that one in, and I started cutting the wall, and the other one fell out. But it broke about 3 of the panels, but it made it look so much better. So I then went around and started breaking other panels of the other windows to make them look quite decrepit there.
William Duffy wants to know how many panels are involved in that facade there.
There are 19 panels. Most of them are 4x8, or 4x7. The top ones are 4x6. The bottom ones are 4x7.
And then Ryan Greger wants to know how you made your tree. There's some interest in that.
Yes, the trees on the back. I actually did not make that. That's probably the one thing in this haunt I did not make this year. I on a like a DIY network YouTube video a couple years ago, and I mentioned it to the convention that we go to, the West Coast Hunters Convention, and they made them for the costume ball. And so then I went and purchased them at their auction. And so I brought them home in a big trailer after the convention was over, and brought them home, and they hung out in my yard for the rest of the season until Halloween. But they're just big old sonotubes and that brown craft paper, and then just painted. This is my wife's witch's room. As you can see, the fireplace is behind me. Well, you'll see it when we're off the pictures. But my wife created almost everything in there. I did the fire pit underneath the cauldron. That was it. She made the witch's stand with all the curly willows, and she made the fireplace with the help of another haunter over here, Scott and Karen from Pumpkin Acres. They helped her make that. And Roland Pickens sold me a laser vortex, which is actually inside the cauldron. So she would hit a button on the ground, and then she would hit a remote, and the fog would go up, and the laser vortex would go, and it worked. Yep. See, there you go. And it actually looked really cool.
That last red tree you saw there, folks, he didn't make that tree.
I did not make
Jamie's desktop again.
not make that.
Another question for you, Troy. How do you, from Chris Steffens, how do you market your haunt?
Really, most of it is word of mouth. If I do a walkthrough haunt, I actually put up signs in the neighborhood and stuff like that. The city puts up notices and stuff like that because the city is very, very, very much in love with me.
Dude, that's
after my
awesome.
1 year of
God.
issues.
Wow.
Yes. Yep. They are very supportive of us. We're actually going to be helping them out with their second annual Halloween festival this year. So, we're going to do a lot with that. But yeah, we basically just do Facebook and
made at this point.
I do. It took a lot of work and a lot of stress and a lot of sweating because I thought I was done with that motel. I thought I was going to have to tear it all down. So, this was 2 years ago when I did, sorry, that graveyard is similar to the 2 years ago. I was actually lucky to borrow some tombstones from my good friend Scott Shear because my tombstones look crappy and his look amazing. So I decided to make it look like I made them, but they were his. And there you can see one of the trees there as well.
Awesome.
So the sign up on top up there is I made that a bunch of years ago, and it's the window, the light box type of idea with LEDs and like a shadow box and stuff like that.
Since the city is so in love with you, they can let you do a walk-in again or walk-through, or no?
Yes, they are. All they said is all I got to do is show them my plans, which I always end up doing anyways. Let their city inspector can come through to make sure that I have fire extinguishers and lights and stuff like that. But the fire marshal cannot. They actually said the fire marshal is not allowed to come on my property. It's just a city issue, and that's it. They actually offered to pay they will pay for my permits as well. The city, so I don't have to buy permits either.
Wow, that's a great
Everybody
deal.
hates me right now.
Dude, I'm hating you.
I know.
All right,
Cindy,
we're gonna take a look at Bonnie.
Just one more question for Troy. Cindy Wortman wants to know, do you have any actors in the haunt? And Stephen Hutchins wants to know, do you have any animatronics?
There are some animatronics. It depends on the year. I rely on, I do have some friends that are actors. I have some neighbor kids that help out act every once in a while. This year specifically, last year it was just me and my wife. She was the witch and I was the old man. And I got to yell at her all night. It was hilarious.
Oh,
I had to sleep outside for a couple of nights. Oh, I let her have it. She fought back valiantly though.
And animatronics?
No, I have a few PVC things and a few reindeer motor things and stuff like that. I don't do any air because I can't keep any of the props that I would build. If I did that, that'd be a rabbit hole, and I don't have storage for it all. So I really rely on ambience and lighting and just the static stuff and actors.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna move along to Bonnie and Tom's photos.
That's our tree.
Knew it was somebody's tree.
Took us months to build
Somebody's tree.
I get no respect. No respect.
Yeah.
We love you.
Oh, this is the Demon of the Dark Woods that Tom made, a few years ago?
Yep.
That the skull is a deer skull, and did that one come from my boss?
No, mine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was saying my boss does a lot of hiking and all, and he just mentioned that he sees these deer skeletons sometimes. Like, oh, I'd like to get some skulls to make things from. And the next day, there's a bag with 3 deer skulls on my desk.
which we probably put into the laundry sink to bleach just in case.
So yeah, this is just the PVC armature,
paper
mache over it.
A real stick. And LED eyes.
There's part of a deer antler there at the end of the top of the staff he's got.
That is cool.
Yeah, he's a nice one. He looks very creepy at night. I love the look of the skull because since we didn't do anything to flesh out the face, you can't see in the picture, but Tom did put little symbols on the face to give him a look of a sort of a little more primitive look.
Cool.
Question for Tom from Megan Larson wanted to know about the butler behind you in your shot there. Where does that come from?
That's
The
the
caretaker. He came from Home Goods a few years ago. We were talking about that before the show started. Tom was out there shopping, and I was at work, and he sent me your called me or whatever, and said, there's this full-sized prop here, and it's only $130, which I think they normally sell for $400, $500, or $600, and I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I hadn't realized quite the deal we got until I did a little research after we bought it.
And we posted about it online, and people were just amazed that we got it for so little, and then we're looking for it. But yeah, that's the
Scaretaker.
Scaretaker, based on I believe a Lon Chaney Sr. character from a Lost horror movie. Something in London. I can't remember the name of the movie. But anyway, that's
London
the character.
London at Midnight
or something like that, but that's the character.
I don't think there's actually any copies of the movie.
No, they lost. The movie was lost, but they had stills, and that's what it
It's
was
a
based on.
silent movie.
Hey, tell us about this photo here.
That's our house. This was this year. The front porch looks like it's on fire because we had a string of orange lights that we decided to put around it. But the upstairs windows have the far left, looking at the screen, the blue, the FCG. Then in the middle, we just have a couple of glow-in-the-dark skellies. And the far right, looking at the screen, we do projections. The atmosphere effects, spectral illusions. We started doing projections a few years ago, which the kids across the street love. And the nice thing about this, we decided we were underutilizing a lot of the house, particularly the porch and the second floor. Doing this lets us start a couple weeks ahead of time. It's protected from weather. Our entire display we put up and down primarily in one day. So this gives us we do ahead of time because we can do one at a time, put up the FCG, then add skeletons, then start projections, and kind of build the anticipation in the neighborhood, with the kids in particular, that Halloween's coming and the Halloween people are going to have stuff in the yard. And the Scaretaker, actually, you can see he's right there.
The
He's in one of
first
the
floor, that
windows.
middle window is the Scaretaker looking out. And there's a zombie there in front of the porch. He's a swaying zombie that we got a kit from
Spider Hill
Prop Works. And then the zombie head.
Zombie head's right there. So.
Nate Dingman and Stephen Hutchins both sort of picked up when you were talking about photography. They were looking for any techniques that you feel help showcase your event.
Oh,
well, that's a tricky eye. Lighting makes all the difference, and
luck makes a difference.
One of the things you'll find is that the camera does not necessarily see what the eye sees.
Right. This more intense, like this blue color. In reality, if you're in our yard, you see this. It's not nearly as blue, but the camera will see much more saturated colors.
But the trick, use a tripod, use very low, or very slow speed. Just try to and take a lot of pictures because they're not all going to come out.
Yep.
Yeah, I love this gargoyle, man. That thing is cool.
It's cool.
You got that at Sam's Club?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I think if I wasn't even a member, a friend of mine at work had, he mentioned it, so we went over there one day at lunchtime and picked that up.
Yeah, he's emotion activated.
He's been running for years.
He made the wings will come out, the
really?
eyes will light up, and he actually talks. He has a few set phrases he says, but what we do is he's actually sitting on a column opposite from our mailbox. So we put a light on the mailbox post.
So that when somebody walks between it, they break the light and that
it causes
triggers
it to trigger.
Cindy Wortman wants to know if you guys carve your tombstones.
Yeah, yes, we do.
Yeah, most of, at least pretty much everyone.
Everything in this picture is all stuff we made. Yep.
Bend over.
There's bend over, I leaned over, and who's the other one?
Boiled over.
Boiled over.
There's my remains.
We like the punny tombstones.
Yeah,
I mean, we in general we like display with a sense of humor. So there's a lot of punny tombstones.
We also have ones for a lot of the classic horror movie actors. There's Lon Chaney and Bela Lugosi and Let's see, who else?
Vincent Price is in
Yeah,
there.
Vincent Price.
But yes, we started doing a lot. We used to have a lot more store-bought tombstones that we gave away 5 or 6 yesterday to a friend of ours who does a garage walkthrough because they're heavy. And as you get older and when you're doing a one-day tear down, set up, whatever, the foam tombstones are nice because I can carry 6, 7, 8 at a time, and it's effortless. So yes, we've been making more and more of our own, and it's great.
It's also, I get free foam because where I work, we get a lot of insulated boxes. So I take the lids of those, bring them home, and we make tombstones out of them.
Okay, everybody knows what this is. This is the Home Depot horse skelly that came out last year. That was a huge hit and very well priced for $200. We said we cannot pass this up. So we did modify him. The horse's mane. The mane is made out of twine. I made that from twine.
I got a bridle from a friend that she rides horses, and I asked her if she knew anybody who had a old bridle they'd be willing to give up for this, and got one in the mail from Colorado.
Yep, and we added little cups over the eyes, like half eye blanks, so that they had LED eyes, but they didn't show well. And we also put in an interval timer because to trigger him by sound, you had to get very close and clap really loudly, which was not useful. So he's got a timer on him. So about every minute and a half, he would just go off, whether anybody was there or not. He would do the whole whinnying, and the lights, eyes would come on. And then the story being told here is these two skeletons.
We have a north and south.
We picked up these 2 caps in Gettysburg a few years ago, Civil War. So there's a northerner and a southerner, and some years they're friends and some years not. This year they were not particularly because the head of the one
is in the horse's mouth.
Stuck in the horse's mouth. That's what he's pointing at. So.
With a question from Allison Allerine, how you lit that scene. The lighting is pretty cool.
There is, I think there was there's one blue spotlight on the ground.
Yeah, one of the things I found is like we have like an amber light that's for the background.
That's way over on the far side.
There's also some orange lighting there. You have the brighter in the background, more somber in the front. So yeah, there's blue, and actually there is a UV light shining on because this was a glow-in-the-dark skeleton on the horse. Didn't really show that much, but
I think in our yard we have one blue light we put in a tree that faces the front of the house. There's probably one on the ground up toward the horse. On the very far side we had a red one, but I don't think we used more than maybe 3 spotlights in the whole yard.
Wow, that's great. Wow.
Stephen Hutchins wants to know, what was the most difficult prop to create?
Oh,
that twine mane. Oh my God, that was to work, and that stuff is tough on the fingers. No, just kidding.
Well, one I did was I don't think there's a picture of it. It was called a zombie grave escape, where it's like a partial coffin with front broken out and a zombie character
based on a shiatsu massager
swaying back and forth and the head moving. And yeah, it's using this shiatsu massager and getting that to work right, the timing and
tweaking it and getting
you're adjusting straps so that to limit the movement on the massager. That was it came out well, but it took a while to get that right.
Yeah.
Bob, how about you? Which prop would you say was your hardest to create?
Me?
Yeah.
The other
Bob, sorry.
They each have their own unique set of difficulties, but maybe this last one, the wasp, may have been the most challenging. Only because I wanted to make it accurate and very detailed. And normally my stuff is pretty cartoonish, and it wasn't until I became aware of the hunt community where I saw what other people were doing, where it was a lot more detailed. So I thought I need to raise my game.
Damn the hunters!
So,
damn hunters!
Yeah,
making Bob work harder.
Damn hunters!
Yeah. Damn you hunters and your details.
Yes.
But yeah, so the challenges for that was to make it accurate and make it light enough where it wouldn't kill somebody should it fail. Finding a way to hoist it up into a tree and have it hang without, in the wind, and making wings that looked realistic that weren't going to fall apart. It was a lot of work.
That wasp
turned out really nice, man. Turned out awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an amazing wasp. It looks real. I mean, it looks like a real, really, really big real wasp. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I studied wasp, magnified wasp pictures for hours and hours just to visualize. You know,
I like how you stuck. Yeah, I like how you stuck Spider-Man up inside of him too, or like the wasp was killing Spider-Man.
yeah, I had to have some kind of.
Speaking of sense of humor.
Yeah, it's actually kid sized, and he has a little trick or treat bucket. So.
Yep.
Justin, how about you? What was your hardest prop to create?
I think the hardest prop, honestly, was probably shoot. We had a few of them that were pretty awesome this year. I think the hardest prop was the spine rip because we had to make it just right, and we never done anything like that. I think one of the hardest problems was creating the audio because it is like it's a small detail, but it's like the largest aspect of the prop. It's what creates the illusion that he's actually ripping out her spine. But we also created obviously our track that we had our actor on was kind of hard, not because it was hard to create, but because we had to make sure that it wasn't going to like come down with a dude who weighs a lot coming out and like flying on it, because it's holding all of him and his motion, and it's like this dude could fly off this track and end up on our audience. So that was kind of scary. And yeah.
Dude, I'd love to do that in one of my haunts, man. Get someone on there. That'd be awesome.
Troy, how about you?
Well, probably, and it's a well-known fact. I was sitting outside one night trying to figure out this facade, and I was in a moment of panic as I could not figure out how to create the look of siding on there without. I in years past I would just get old fence boards or real siding and staple it up onto pallets and stuff like that. But it was single high buildings where this was going to be really high up, 19 feet up in the air, and so. Trying to figure out that, I posted up on Facebook, and of course, the Hunters Hangout helped me out, Mary Fettner, and said, here's this cool video from this one guy. None of you guys have heard of him. He's really quiet in the haunt world, but his name is Alan Hops. And he did of scenic painting number 2. Because scenic painting number 1 was, that was all right, but second try was much better, and it was the exact thing that I was looking to do. So between the two of them, they actually saved my facade, because at that point I had not actually built anything yet, and so it was on that. But then the second part of that is getting the facade up. Getting the first story was no problem. I actually did lift up one panel by myself, and I just about fell over on my ladder. That was not a smart decision.
It was Hollywood Haunters, wasn't it?
No.
Are you serious? I was like, they put like facades up and show exactly how to do it. I'm like, you had to look at their stuff.
Surprisingly enough, I did not. It was actually Alan that helped me on that part of it. But we've all seen how Hollywood Haunters do it, of course. But after I put up the one panel, I said, I don't think I can do this, and I've got 12 more to do up here, and there's no way I can do this. And so the idea came to me to get scaffolding. So I went out and got scaffolding, and that was quite funny telling the people at the rental place what I was building. So.
Right.
Brad, do you have another question for the panel, and then we can move on to photos?
Lots.
I think we missed somebody.
No, they answered it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they answered it, and then I went to Bob, and Bob didn't.
Okay.
He thought it was another Bob.
Pay attention, Diablo.
I don't know.
Here's a question for everybody. We have lots of questions tonight. Question for Edie from Edie Blunser wants to know for the whole panel: how do you all deal with haters, the neighbors who complain, people who think this is a dumb hobby?
So we're skipping Troy. So
yeah, because nobody hates me.
Let's start with Bob.
I have not experienced the haters, so
You're lucky.
so I'm glad I'm not able to answer that.
So Bob's answer is ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. Right, well, yeah, no. So far, I'm pretty conscious of that, and I think part of it is I really don't want to get too big. I've had people offer to do news stories about it and stuff, and neighbors saying I know somebody at the newspaper, and I keep discouraging that because, you know, I might get 150, 200 kids plus their families, and that's enough for me. You know, I don't need to be, you know, I don't need to have lines. I don't think my neighborhood needs to have lines. So I'm in good standing with my neighbors, and that's good enough for me. And now and then teenagers will come by and say, "Wow, that's badass." And I figured if the teenagers think it's cool, it's safe.
Right.
Justin, how about you?
Well, Bob, I have enough for all of us. And,
All the haters.
yeah, so,
He has 120 of them to be exact.
Well, you are right that as you grow, you gain with how many really hate you, especially when you get around 8,000 people in your front yard within a few weekends. Yeah, your neighbors really aren't happy about that. Luckily, last year we got out of my yard and our numbers just grew again. But I mean, we get all kinds of just people who hate us. I mean, we just recently got my yard totally cleaned to where you couldn't actually tell that there was ever a haunted house here. And that's like 2 years after we moved. But our neighbors hate us, absolutely. But we also have like, we have, or at least had, I don't think we're having it now anymore, but for the past long time, we've had a float in the a parade on the 4th every year, and half our crowd is like, yeah, that kicks ass, because we have like hard rock music and our actors are out there and all that, and then the other half is literally like screaming at us and just being awful that we're even even
the hell with them.
And then there's another one we did. Yeah, I know, right? Matt, you don't have a haunt. There's another one we did where we had our application in the first day that applications were allowed, and somehow our float ended up, the last float in front of us was the horses who were taking huge dumps, and then behind us were the street sweepers who were constantly just nipping on our heels while we're trying to act on a street. So we
did
go
this shit
after
on
that.
They did that shit on purpose. They did this shit on purpose.
Yeah, and then
He literally shit on you.
Yeah, no. Well,
I know, right? It just keeps going. It's like a big pile.
Damn non
on that shitty note, let's move along to Troy. How do you handle the hate?
Troy's like, I have nothing. Troy has,
actually, surprisingly enough, one of my brothers thinks that I'm nuts and thinks that I'm crazy for all of it. He did say the word cult at one time, and I actually think all of us can agree that we're a pretty badass cult. So, I don't really have haters. Like I said, the city likes me, the neighbors like me. I have some new neighbors this year. That every year I seem to have one or two new neighbors, and my skeleton horse is permanently outside, right in front of the mailboxes, and we decorate them for different holidays. So it's kind of an idea. I did have a girl walk up to me yesterday and says, "Why do you have a horse in your front front yard?" And I said, "Why do you have blonde hair?"
Just that natural.
It's Halloween every day, and she ran over to her friend and she said, the guy with the horse said it's Halloween every day. So we'll get them. And then my daughter comes out, starts playing with them, and it's all fine. So yeah, no, we don't. All the neighbors like us.
That's good.
So, yep.
Bonnie and Tom, how about you?
Yeah, we don't have haters.
Yeah, we've been lucky. No issues with any neighbors.
Yeah, and I think it's one of these things where we're good neighbors year round, which helps.
Right.
We don't do gore. I think the goriest thing we have is a severed head, and she's usually in some goofy position.
Well, the bird bath with the eyes.
Well, the bird bath with the eyes, yes,
And the
that's a
blanket.
little gore, but the kids are fascinated by that.
Yeah.
But we also don't try to scare, especially if they're little kids. That's like a hard and fast. We don't do leap out scares or anything.
Mostly we let them scare themselves.
Yes, we encourage they come up and enjoy, and we go out and talk to people too when they come in the yard. But like Bob, we don't want hundreds of people coming in. We don't advertise it. We do. It's word of mouth. So we probably average about 80 to 100 people a year. Well, people that we actually give candy to, plus the ones who come by just to look. But we go out and in costume, and we'll talk to people and explain props to the little kids. If a kid's scared, we'll talk them through how we make it, and because we want it to be fun. We want it to be a fun scare, and I think that helps.
I have a question. If that's your philosophy about with the kids, how do you make sure they grow up fucked up inside? Like, I don't.
I totally agree with that.
Wow.
We leave that to their parents to do that.
Like I said, actually the kids end up scaring themselves most of the time.
really
I'll
do.
be in costume, and most of the time, I'll be acting like I'm one of this static props. And then out of the corner of the eye, I move a little bit, and they catch the movement. But we have some animated stuff, but for the most part, yeah, they do a good job of scaring themselves.
Awesome. Jamie, are you ready with Bob's photos?
Sure.
Now, while you're loading those up, we have tons of questions for Bob. Robert Collins wants to know: are you going to be on the Home Haunters DVD?
I am. I won't be first this time. It goes alphabetically, and so Atticatch I was in the A's, but now there's people that are using 13th or something. So I'm thinking. Go ahead.
And Tim Wilkie wants to know: love your theme. But have you ever thought about switching it up? And what are your thoughts of what you might do in the future?
Well, no. Man, that's too much damn work to change things. People are crazy who change themes. In my crazy.
You could do circus inside.
This is it. Look at, I mean, giant
enough to store one set of things.
Pirate insects.
Yeah, I mean, you should be more sensible, like making a 50-foot snake. That's more sensible. No, well, I'm thinking about. I have a couple of ideas where I might go more with the lab theme, where I'd have technicians or something. But I'm thinking about morphing into a kind of a Kong Island thing. Because
cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it because I'm thinking I was going to do a horde of cockroaches this year, but I'm contemplating doing the tree spider from Kong Island and having it
Bob,
over my.
Bob, if I may interject, if you make a giant King Kong, I'm gonna quit haunting. I'm done.
Well,
I'm done.
I'm thinking 2020. I might go for Kong.
All right. Well, you heard it here first.
All right, Bob. Tell us about this picture here.
You have to retire, Troy.
Yeah, can you bump that up a year or two?
Hey! I'll just come live next to you, Brad. I'll come next to you, and we'll be Naunters together.
Hey, this is night and day shots. I thought it was important that it looks good during the day too.
It does.
Man, I believe that 100%, dude. I mean, it's gotta look good during the day.
So, now I got lucky with the fog here on the bat because there's lights on the other side of the boom for the bat, and it's just a matter of if the fog drifts up there, whether that.
Man, that's good fog. Where do you get the fog from?
Mother Nature.
I plead the fifth. I bought my fog several years ago, before I was aware of hunters
Hey,
hanging out.
Bob, dude, you lied.
My nenext purchase, I promise.
Bob, you lied.
Froggy's fog.
All right.
No.
And with that, let's
weird.
move on to our next.
Jesus
Weird
Christ.
cough.
I bet you it would look a lot better if it were Foggy's fog. I'll say.
And that you bought like a container of fog, or like a drum, or are we talking bottles still?
No, I bought several gallons.
All right. All right.
Okay, this
Froggy's fog.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Okay. Yeah, this is another group shot. And it's more. This is kind of a good look at the Manus. I guess it's worth noting that I, on my lights, since I don't have tombstones and such, I make baffles. I just use particle board and I put roofing paper over it and hinge them together. And that way, the light stays directed on what you want it to light, and I think it has a little more impact, kind of like you see in theaters, how they direct lighting. Otherwise, it shines in people's faces. And also, the little pot in front of the snake, there are a set of lights that shine up on the tree for the wasp. That's how I managed to light the wasp up.
Mike Blumhoff wants to know what audio you use in your display.
I create I'm a one-man operation, and among those things, I do all my own sound as well. So I have an analog interface synthesizer. I won't get too geeky about it, but I use patch cables and stuff. It's an analog interface. And I create a random sequence that creates all the creature sounds. It's all just twiddling knobs and stuff, no computers or anything. That's my other passion, sound design. And so I run that live through a 500-watt amp into a bass speaker under the rat, and it like shakes the ground. So I got all the creatures. So if you look at the one video I did where it's just a continuous thing, my dusk video, the sound effects you hear are actually running live. You're hearing it going into the camera live. Okay, this is a picture of my wasp, and there's the tree. See, that's the actual tree. That was my tree.
Way better.
Oh, I thought
I
thought it was a red one, but it wasn't.
Well, yeah, it was slightly different lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. So that this is the wasp, and the Spider-Man. He was made again with that 9-gauge wire. But everything else, it's all. I call it kind of the Lowe's wasp, because almost everything on that wasp I bought off the shelf from Lowe's.
What do you use for the wings?
Yeah, how do you do the wings?
The wings are 9-gauge. The wings are 9-gauge wire, which I use seems like for everything, but it's the stuff is awesome. You buy it for $10 for a 50-foot spool. The Spider-Man is made out of that. It's light. You can shape it however you want, and it only bends when you want it to bend. So that's made with that, and then I also have that plastic corrugated sheeting that's used to brace the wing, and then I bought Gourmet Food Service the large sheets of the cling wrap, and so I just did lengthwise the cling wrap over the.
So that's the membrane. Okay.
That's the membrane, and then I used paint marker that has paint in it and I actually projected a microscopic image of a wasp wing. I used an old opaque projector, and so I got the pattern for the wasp wing on that, and then I used some amber shellac to do highlights.
It's just beautiful.
Lydia Rossi wants to know, Bob, do you dress up to hand out candy?
Oh, damn.
Can we talk about that before the show started?
Oh, damn.
Well, this year I put on a lab coat, and because I was shooting video all during Halloween night, so between trick-or-treaters and that, I was running around, and so I just kept a bunch of candy in my lab coat. And Diablo somehow under the impression that I had kids picking after my fun-sized candy, and it's not true.
Hey, show them how you were taking the pictures.
Like this?
And said,
Yeah, yeah. My movies, I held my tripod over my head, and
and
so
said,
my camera was like
get some
50
candy in my pocket. Is that what you said?
No, I didn't. not that I recall. Not that I recall, Your Honor.
Linda Marshall wants to know
Next
if
picture.
there.
Next picture.
Yeah.
Next
About this
picture.
spider here.
Linda Marshall wants to know if there's a particular bug that you still want to do, but you haven't done, maybe that you think might be too challenging.
Well, I'm too challenging, huh? Well, I was thinking about doing a scorpion, and that would be a lot of work. So
I want you to do a flea. I want you to do a flea because that's literally the smallest thing out there to find.
Right.
Make a giant flea.
Giant flea.
What? We should go. Can we go back when I didn't get to talk about my spider?
We're at. We have to go quick because we're running out of time.
Right.
This is all right. This is the. Okay, that was the spider.
You stand, you lose.
Yeah, that was. I used that 4mm plastic sheeting, and I have fire and ice lights underneath it, and then I have great stuff that I carved out, and I put smooth on air over that and sculpted that in. And those legs, the way I did those, they're pool noodles, but I actually bonded another set of pool noodles over one over the other. You know, I split it open like a hot dog bun, and then used a heat gun to bond them together to give that extra thickness on the legs.
So where do you store these in the off season?
Yeah, there it is.
And there's, but you could kind of see the sidewalk, the lighting there, how the baffles direct the lighting back toward the. But I wanted to show that spider from the roof there.
Awesome. All right, we're actually gonna move along to Justin's photos next.
Oh, we're there now? Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
well.
Well.
Got it.
And explain this one.
So, oh, you're gonna laugh. So this is.
I'm already laughing.
This is our rules room. So this is the first guy that you meet as you walk in our haunted house. In real life, he is a middle-aged. He is a veteran from Desert Storm. He is a huge guy, so when he's in here just acting all freaky and gross on props and stuff, it's hysterical and gross. He really knows how to work a crowd, whether it's making him laugh, making him scream, whatever. What he's really doing is a huge idea of mine in our haunt, which is that you won't scare everyone, but you can entertain everybody who comes, whether you make them laugh or whatever. And I really love that out of my actors. So this one is an actress of ours, also our head of makeup, and is actually walking on a pair of I can't remember the name of them.
Stilts.
I'm drawing a blank. Yes,
Stilts?
walking on, yeah. So obviously a rabbit mask, a giant axe, and people
Nice suit.
axe.
Nice suit.
Yeah. And axe in our line, and people love her. It's interesting because it is a girl, but her character is a male simply because it's scarier that way, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Here's another one.
Yeah. So
Who is
this is
roaring
actually a
back there?
part. Huh?
Who is roaring?
I was trying to
Never do anything like that.
Sorry,
So,
go ahead.
It's all right. This guy is actually a part of our other haunt. he's a part of our town. Our town is interesting because it changes its theme every year so that we can kind of present a new tale. Our theme of last year was a plague, so not quite a zombie haunt, but more like if you've ever watched The Crazies. So you're kind of walking through and the whole town is hit by a plague. And also, the plague has happened while our town is having its annual Halloween party in its streets. I find that there's not a lot of haunts out there that have Halloween as a theme or have Halloween like added in it. It's just like I'm scary, and I really like having Halloween in our haunt somewhere, whether it's a pumpkin or whatever. So this guy is actually the guy that was here earlier. There was a few questions about that. He, again, is an actor in our line. He is in one of our so in our haunt, we tried to be as realistic with the way you walk through as we can. Where he's at right now is what I call Ward A, which is pretty much just where a patient would live. But what I've done is I've said, okay, each patient has a personality, so each patient would create his own room. Even though it's not a huge space, he would create it as kind of his own world. So you experience a lot of rooms with one actor in each room, but each actor has his own room, and the room is created around him and what he likes. So
Christine Campbell had a question for you, Justin. Where on earth do you find spine-tearing audio? You mentioned
we created it.
Yeah. Where did that come from?
We created it. We use a lot of audio from online, just any place that offers. We mix it and everything. So it took a lot of work to make it just right, because it's not just as easy as it's a type of a noise. So we actually had to create that. So because we thought it'd be really easy if we could just buy one, but it isn't out there. And we also like to kind of have it where if you come to our haunt, you won't experience any aspect of our haunt anywhere else that you go, because it's really bad when I go to a haunt on Friday. I'm like, wow, that prop was really cool. And then I go to a haunt the next night and it's like, wow, that same prop was really cool over here, but not as cool. So I really like a lot of stuff that only I have. So anyway, he is an actor again in Ward B, which is where we have that ass load of actors. He actually has acted with us for a few years now. He's created a character that he calls Twitchy. So he's a patient. He's really good. He's really tall, but he's not afraid to act like on the ground or like act up high or whatever. And he has the pop down to it's an art where he waits till the audience is right there. They know he's there, but right after our audience, like, okay, he isn't going to act out anything, then he pops and it works every time. It's so great.
He's creepy looking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very cool. Jamie, are you ready with Troy's photos?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. So we are one of the only haunts in the world who uses real fire. Yeah. With all the wind we get out here too, that was real smart. But we only did real fire on Halloween night, and it added so much to it. Just to get that look. We barely had. I don't even know. There's actually no lighting in that room at all except for the fireplace. All the lighting in there is all from the candles. And there's a couple of fake candles that I've got up on my fireplace here that we had, from LED. I got some from Steve Stockinger, and I built some myself as well. And so yeah, we just my friend Amy came over and took a bunch of pictures. Like I already forgot their name, but they talked about the. I'm terrible at this. About taking the long exposures and just standing there. She would. I mean, we were out there for a good 2-3 hours just taking pictures of stuff and doing the really long exposures to get the right kind of lighting and stuff on them. So a lot of witch brooms. That's her witch's hutch there, and we got a collection of stuff from all over the place. The Davis graveyard donated some of the potion bottles and stuff like that on there.
I like that water bottle that's there on the bottom shelf. That's fancy.
A tea kettle. That's actually a tea kettle. It actually has where you can put the candle underneath it, like a real candle.
No, the other side, the other end.
Oh, my wife's coffee cup. Yeah. After we took this picture, I go, really?
For you. See that beautiful water bottle right there?
Oh, yes, that thing. Yeah. So, she just put a bunch of stuff up there. She made a bunch of little spices in there and stuff like that, and just kind of went to town on it. And so it's kind of a collaboration of several different haunters in there. So, yeah.
No, I like this.
That bridge. So I have a slight confession to make that I had never seen Pumpkinhead prior to about October 20th. And I sat around one night and I was like, you know what? I have some time. I'm gonna relax for a little bit and I'm gonna watch this Pumpkinhead. So I watched it, and when he starts to walk across the bridge to the witch's house, which ironically enough, I have an entire folder of movies on my computer of just witch movies, so we could do a lot of research and stuff. And he walked across a bridge that had fog underneath it and all that kind of stuff. And I had been telling my wife that I hated my driveway too. Why would there be a concrete driveway in the middle of the forest leading up to this cabin? And so I was like, I'll build a bridge. And I get about 100 pallets a week at my work that I can give out for free at my disposal. And I built the little pillars on the side, and I have a Chauvet fog machine from Froggy's Fog.
There you go.
Underneath there.
You go.
And
there you go, baby.
Where I, and there's LED lights underneath the bridge and stuff. Where I live gets an extreme amount of wind, usually almost every day in October. And this Halloween was the first year ever that I had not 1 mile an hour of wind. It was so still, and there was actually fog in the air above the haunt as well, that this fog, at some points, you could not see the house from where I'm taking that picture. And I'm taking the picture right in front of my driveway. It was so thick, you could not walk through it. And it never moved. And then like a tiny gust of wind would come up, and it would move it all, and then it would just be fine the rest of the night. And so it was quite effective how it rolled out of all the pallets. So I ripped them all apart and put all the slats back together for safety. You gotta think about safety when people are walking over it. And that bridge I love that thing.
That's cool.
And the reason I put this up as one of my pictures is I had originally planned to do a Western town this year. The townspeople will destroy this cabin over the summer, which is what they're doing right now, and they'll destroy the cabin, and underneath it they discover a pioneer graveyard. And so the town will decide to do a festival and kind of a recreation of the Western town that used to be where this town is. And so we're going to have, but it's going to be overrun by zombies because they anger the undead underneath. and so they take over the town. But so you know, every year I like to put something in the haunt that'll be next year, and so that skull was bought for me from Christopher Weeks up in Canada. They had it at a store up there, and they did not have it down here, and so he bought that for me. And we are not going to do the Western Town this year, though, because me and my wife are deciding to take a little year where it's just me and her doing like tombstones together and stuff, kind of rekindling the Halloween fire, if you will. So it's just going to be me and her sitting around in the fire on this summer nights making tombstones. So we're going to have tombstones like the ones on the left, not the ones on the right. I know. So now I won't have to borrow tombstones from other people now. So we learned techniques from the Davis Graveyard and from Becky Newman at the Witch Creek Cemetery out here. So we're going to use those techniques and make a bunch more tombstones. And that's I went with complete 100% LED lighting this year. Actually, surprisingly enough, it's ran off of 3 different trunk lines. The entire facade is off of one, the yard is off of another, and then the hearse is ran off another one. And it's all ran off a control box that I built. And I've also always hated that tree as well. I really hate my house and my yard.
Why did you go there?
Well, I had to move because my wife was pregnant, and the rental house that we were living in, they decided to sell it in August. So I had to move very quickly, and we got out of the city and moved out here. And so this year I actually lit up the tree with that green light, and there's a red one on the other side and stuff. And so we accented the tree instead of tried to hide it this year. So but the LED lights, I've got, you know, everybody talks to me about LED lights all the time, and anybody wants to know anything about LED lights or where I get them, just message me and I'll shoot you over tons of links.
I got a question here for you from Jennifer Waite Daigle. Troy, I'm from Montana, and I'm wondering what states the Northwest Hunters Association covers and how hunters join.
Montana is definitely in. You just have to look up Northwest Hunters Association, and also I'll find your comment and I'll tag you on it too, and I'll post a link down below. You know, mainly the Northwest Hunters Association is mainly for people that are in the Northwest or people that would maybe visit here. For conventions or for friends and family. I know like Roland Pickens has a family member that lives over in Beaverton. But we pretty much accept anybody. You're not going to get a whole lot out of it. We do events here like barbecues and making takes and all that kind of things around here. But we're not exclusive. So.
Cool. Jamie, are you ready with Bonnie and Tom's photos?
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, that is. I think
That's
it's
awesome.
also Home Depot.
Oh, the red tree was trying to sneak in there.
I'm really proud of that tree.
I love that tree.
Yeah, I wish I could say we made this, but this is the Lunging Reaper that we got at Home Depot.
Yep, I think he was another deal at $99. He's very popular. He's very well made, and I think he has about 5 or 6 phrases he does. Motion activated or sound activated. So he gets placed near the sidewalk. We have a cemetery fence along the front of the house, and we put him down there so he can entertain people as they walk by.
Lunges toward the people walking by.
Yeah, he'll reach. Anybody who has one knows how this works. But he'll talk and then suddenly reach forward towards you.
His eyes are really cool too.
Yeah, they're not quite as bright as that. Of course, the camera sees it a little bit brighter, but yeah, it has that as part of his mouth motion is very well coordinated. And the eyes will light up as he goes. So we got him, a couple years ago, I think?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is actually...
This is the story behind
these are 2 tombstones to honor my parents who have passed away. So we have the tombstones for them, and then we put the couple of the half-torso skeletons there together.
And they always hold hands, and then we put hats on them so you know which is which. But yes, those are... as opposed to the willow tombstone, this is Tom's parents' tombstones.
My way to remember them.
That's nice.
So they're there with us every Halloween.
I love the hats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm big on putting. Well, here's another one. We're big on putting hats on things, or at least I am. There's
Mr. Grumbles.
Mr. Grumbles, Groundbreaker, also wearing a hat. He doesn't move. He just sits back behind.
Mr. Mumbles, I guess.
Mumbles. Here lies, no, Mr. Grumbles lost his jaw, and now he mumbles. And you can see some of the more traditional, the Vincent Price. I think there's Lon Chaney back there, and can't read all of them. Oh,
and there's baby skeletons.
Yes, well, we like to do, we have a lot of skeletons, and we like to do each year little scenes with them, so they're not just sitting in the yard. So these two are just a couple parents with their
It's just
kids.
a skeleton family.
A couple years ago, we did a poker theme, so we had skeletons sitting in circles with cards stuck in their hats and their hands, all over the place. Decided to do that. So this year is more the family, and then of course the north and west or north and south skellies always have something going.
Is that a dog in there too?
Oh, we've got a couple
Yes.
dog skeletons and a cat.
Yeah, there's a dog skeleton. There's a
Big
couple
dog.
dog skeletons. There's you can't see the cat skeleton. That dog skeleton I think we got just this year.
Actually, to the left of the bench is the willow.
That's the willow
that's the
tombstone that
tombstone
Bob's
for
not supposed to look at.
for
and then-
our departed pet.
Party perfect. So
Melissa Polson wants to know, Tom and Bonnie, do you have dedicated roles in your haunt designing / building?
dedicated. No, I would say no. We both do. We both make props. Tom's better at the things that they're
I do
animated,
a little
figuring
more
out how. He's a
mechanical
little more
stuff.
mechanical stuff. I'm more the more static things. This is the prop you were talking about.
Yeah, so this is
the
the zombie grave escape
Yep, that was
there.
the paint and
Where
make.
he's animated, and actually the one on the right is the first animated prop I did. It's just kind of like a tombstone peeper.
It's a head
where
popper
the
if I get you.
skull comes up over the top there.
But pretty dedicated. No, usually
Yeah.
my role on the Halloween night, I'm the one who passes out the candy, but I also go out in the yard. Tom tends to patrol the yard.
But we tend to do our own props. We don't work. Sometimes we'll help out each other on ones, but most of the time we're kind of doing our own thing.
And then my other role is I write the music now for our videos. So we take turns actually putting the videos together, depending on who's got the time and the motivation, because we have to look through 300 or 400 pictures to narrow it down to a 3-minute video.
All right. One more here.
Okay, this is the Haunt Forum had a $20 prop contest. So, and it had a key. So actually, she doesn't have it here. She's actually
She had a sock
behind me.
monkey.
She's got a sock monkey now. But yeah, it was just, this was inspired by the Aztec,
The Aztec and Peruvian mummies.
Peruvian mummies.
Yeah, Tom did this in about 2 weeks' time. He decided, I guess I'll get this one thrown together, but she's a
And this one, Bonnie helped with the face. So I was just running out of time, and she was able to. She got the face, and she did a better job than I could have.
and then he did the painting. But yeah, she got slapped together pretty quick. But she's very, we like her because she has a very mournful, kind of sorrowing look to her. That's just.
But yeah, the pose is one you see if you look up the pictures. You see that this is how they found some of these mummies in this kind of pose. So I'm very happy with how she came out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Turned out amazing.
We used to. I think she's just. Did you use a flour mache or paint mache? I did paint mache on the face, but basically paper
It's
towel
usually
mache
fun, yeah.
with, into latex paint, and
Yeah,
it's
some
great.
PVC armature and
Get that wrinkly
you know,
texture and
coat hangers and
Beautiful work.
coffee and tea stained cheesecloth wrapped around the arms, and then creepy cloth just to make her look like a. She did have also a. You can't see it. She did have hair to make her look like.
well, yeah, it's like I got some hair at the dollar store. You go in there, you have these little for the kids' toys. They have these hair amendments. So pop that on there. Some creepy cloth. I have.
Cool. Thank you guys very much. Those are awesome pictures.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brad, do you have any questions for the panel?
Yeah.
Or anybody for that matter?
Well, just still for Bonnie and Tom, Chris wanted to know how long. Chris Wilhausen wanted to know how long you've been running the haunt. I don't know if you can't remember if you mentioned that before.
Well, we've been doing displays in the yard since we lived in a. Well, 29 years this coming fall, and we started doing displays in our front yard, but very simple.
Oh yeah, I had got like a werewolf mask and
Yeah.
had him peering, made a little armature and had him peering over a fence. But it was probably where we started actually upping it to actually closer to being a yard haunt. It was probably 2006, 2007 was the beginnings of it.
Yeah, we always had something out, but it's grown over the years as we've gotten better and learned more from other haunters how to do things.
Been finding things on the internet. I mean, there's a lot lot of sites to and you find these how-tos and see what other people are doing, and you start off sometimes imitating others and go off on your own style.
Okay, question. So a number of questions that we can ask sort of the whole panel. Maybe keep your answers a little brief so we can get through them all here. So Nick Christ wants to know, have you ever almost called it quits? And if so, what kept you going?
Bob, let's start with Bob on this one.
Well, there was 1 week where with the Wasp last year, where when I was laying all the tape to mask it off to paint it, when I started to paint it, all the tape, because it was so hot and humid, it all just started peeling off, and it already was taking twice as long as I had planned, and I just overcame it and did it. And but yeah, I was really close that night. I was like, man, I think I'm done. But
Justin, how
public
about you?
humiliation.
Justin, have you ever had a time where you almost quit, just threw in the towel?
Not me. I haven't, but we've had a lot of times. All right, my haunt is actually owned by like my family, so I'm the creative guy. I come up with all the scary stuff, but my mom and dad actually own our business. But again, my brother is involved. He's a manager. I've got my aunt and uncle are involved. They run stuff. My girlfriend runs our food and stuff and our merch. I've got a bunch of cousins who all have jobs and are all involved. So there's been a lot of times throughout like our years, especially when we were at my house, if you bring 100 actors in nasty paint for a month in your house, we repainted our house like every year because the walls were screwed up, and it just caused a lot of fights between our family to where it's almost like we shouldn't even have this anymore. But luckily now we're out of our yard, so any wall that's screwed up, it's not our house for the rest of the year. So
Troy, how about you?
Oh, now you can hear me. Okay.
Oh.
Probably just, I mean, each year I think I come up with, some, like Bob said, about, a week here, a week there, where it's just like, man, this is daunting. And, figuring out the sighting issue, but, once you get to Halloween night, and you see everything that happens, you see your handiwork, you get to step back and look at it, and everybody comes by and sees it. That gives you 364 more days to get excited again, and so I don't see myself stopping anytime soon.
Bonnie and Tom.
Unless Bob does King Kong, of course.
Oh yeah.
We all quit. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
I will say every year we set up and tear down the same day. So we're setting up all day Halloween. We tear it down at 10 o'clock at night on Halloween. So by the time we're done tearing down on Halloween, we are exhausted and probably thinking, why are we doing this?
It's the same thing. There are times coming up to me thinking,
I'm with you.
You kind of love not. You feel like after a while you have an obligation to do it because people expect it, and that does weigh a little bit heavily on occasion. But it's the same like when I have to go to a rehearsal for a show that I'm involved with, and there are times I feel like I don't want to go out of the house. I want to sit here and do nothing. But when I get there, I'm so happy and enjoy it. And the Halloween is the same way. Once we start interacting and the kids start coming in, the adults come in, and we get the feedback on how much they enjoy it and look forward to it every year, it's like Troy said. It's like you don't want to stop at that point. You want to do it again. even if it wears you out.
And
of
this is how I celebrate my birthday.
Yeah, he gets no cake until like a week later, no presents. Or
Although sometimes the kids in the neighborhood, because somebody else will say it's my birthday, they'll get the kids together and they sing happy birthday to me.
On the front lawn. Yeah. I think every haunter sometimes feels like they'd like to not have the obligation to do it, but once you get into doing it, it's so fulfilling. I mean, it really is.
We're getting to the point where we may, you know, pull back a little bit and try to minimize some things.
We don't do as much detail, but we still put a lot out there.
Yeah. Brad, do you have any other questions?
Yeah. So from Nick Chris again, if everyone could maybe talk about sort of your favorite Halloween memory, whether it was a scare you got or some part of doing it that you sort of hold on to after all this time doing it.
Bob, let's start with you again.
Wow. I think when a kid gave me a piece of candy, he came up to the house. He goes, "You've earned this."
That's so sweet. Oh my God.
I thought, wow, that's cool.
He wasn't going like this, was he?
No, he was a very nice, polite young little man, and he came up and that somehow meant a lot to me. That might be it. Then the next girl, "Why are you doing this? Why are you scaring people like this?" That's the next girl.
Justin, how about you?
All right, so I'm gonna cheat. I don't have one. I have three. So the first one was the first year that we actually ran it as a haunt. Was when I walked out of our haunt to our line, or like what I called our line, and I was like, "Holy shit, we have a line!" I was like, "There's 10 people waiting." Like, goddamn! So that was awesome.
That's awesome.
And it's going to correlate to my third one, but well, right now actually. So the next one was last year on our craziest night. We were watching our count all night long and just waiting and waiting. And we were just watching it rise and rise. And we hit 1,000 people in one night. And that was like a milestone. And we were like, yeah, like everyone was just so happy. And we were dancing and I vlogged it and everything, and that was so great because like it was like all night. It's like, all right, we have an hour left. What do we have now? It's like 800. It's like, God damn, we need a few hundred people.
A lot of prizes went out that day, didn't
Yeah. And then the last one was also last year. It was on our last night. We have a pit before we open up every night. Our whole cast, we meet in one room. We have a bunch of music. We dance, and we get hyped up for our night. I have a speech to hype up everyone, a lot of that stuff. And I think the best moment was when I'm up there. There's 100 actors all crammed in one room who I've worked with now for months. We've bled with, we've sweat with, and when I say haunted, and they all at one time scream Hills, and then it's just quiet, and they watch me all at once, and it was just like, wow, like this is what I imagined 9 years ago when we created our haunt. So that was
that on video, right, Justin?
I think I do, yeah.
I watched that the other night. It was really awesome. The chanting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Troy, how about you?
Probably it kind of actually goes along the lines of Justin's. Is back in 2011 when we had, before I moved here, we had our biggest year ever, and we had a bunch of my friends helping me, and we ended up in 3 nights. We ended up having 2,500 people go through my home haunt, and walking out there and looking down the street and seeing just a line going down the street and cop cars coming down the street because of the traffic we were creating and everything, and you know, having the cops get out and go through the haunt. So you know, that year definitely. They actually had the fire department come through as well. They had a blast going through there. So you know, you know, those big years when you hit big numbers are the ones that keep you going, and so that's the one that I always hold on to.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Bonnie and Tom.
Favorite Halloween memory?
Well, there's when you're up on the front porch, I used to kind of alternate between having a static prop and then I would be in the same costume, so the kids wouldn't know if it's real or it's just static.
Yeah, that
And
you said you
I
let
was
them
dressed-
scare themselves.
I was dressed as the Reaper, and
Liars.
Yeah, liar, total liar.
I didn't jump. I don't usually jump out, but one kid decided to come over. And so 3 of them, they come up, and this one kid's getting up in my face and jumping, and I have the Reaper mask had black cloth over the eyes, so you can't see my eyes. You can't tell that it's me. So I just stay still. I don't move, and then when he turns to his friends, that's when I turn my head and I start getting up and reaching out with the side. And his friends' eyes, you know, he's looking at them. They see me. Their eyes are huge. And he's looking at them. And he finally turns around and I am right at his face and got him to he jump back. But so that was my revenge for the kid jumping in my face.
Yeah. It's like a 12-year-old boy. The 12-year-old, 13, 14-year-old boys are really, really tough.
Yeah, so he's showing off for his friends, but then he's the one who got scared.
That's right. That was pretty funny.
Nice.
Well, thank you, everybody. It was a great show. You guys are a great group. We have some prizes to give away, so we'll do that now.
It's a plot.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! Rawr.
There it is again, that weird rawr.
Bob, stop it!
Quit!
Bob,
Quit with the
creepy,
weird
man.
old
Stop.
rawr.
Stop it, Bob.
What did I do?
Oh, the other Bob.
Yeah, the other Bob.
Who's doing prizes?
Not me. I'm done.
Am I doing the prizes? Y'all
Wait,
trust?
ain't Brad supposed to do prizes?
No prizes tonight. Just kidding. No. Just
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Bye.
Hold on.
I've got them if you want me to read them.
I think the winners would appreciate us reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, pins and needles.
All right. We'll let Brad read them then.
Okay, go.
1 second here. I was trying to find an applause sound. Okay, today's okay, that's not working. Winners of the Froggy's Fog. Prepare your applause, everyone. Winner is Alyssa Robinson. Congratulations. Next up is the FFFX mask. Winner of that prize is Stephen Hutchins. Congratulations, Stephen. And next up is the Fright Props Zed Skull. The winner of that tonight is Kathy Wells Fry. And then next is the Sinful Audio. The winner of that is our good friend and faller off of chairs, Trish Redding.
Hey! We all stayed up this time, Trish.
And Sam Haynes download is the person I noticed in the comments today with my favorite name I've ever heard. Her name is Deborah Guffey Snooks. Deborah, you the winner. You're the winner tonight and in life for having that name. That's a great name. Okay, so please.
And I also, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, please contact Julie Rydell by Friday, May 5th to collect your prizes. And it's RIEDEL. Contact her on Facebook and you'll get your prizes. Congratulations, everybody.
I also wanted to let you know that me and Jason Becker are available for birthday parties and bar mitzvahs and pool parties under Christopher Presley's Magical Pink Unicorn Troupe. So book us today. We're going fast, man.
It's funny, we didn't have any questions about that.
Wow, yeah.
Wow, that's because Christopher's at work, so that's why.
Hey, well, we want to thank everybody for coming by. We want to thank Brad for getting on the questions, and we want to thank Jamie for coming out and helping us with the pictures. She'll be here next week. I think she wants to leave us. I'm not sure.
Don't yell at her.
I know.
We took it way easier on her this week than we did on Julie last week. So.
I know, we did too. And I want to thank Jackie for doing a great job. And I want to thank everybody for coming on and being a great guest. And we'll see everybody next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.